I'm Derek Joyce and I'm here with Paul O'Murda, and this is I'm Not the Expert, but this is a podcast where we talk about everything from South Park, which we know nothing about, to quantum physics, which we also know nothing about. So grab a cup of tea, sit back and join us. Happy St. Patrick's Day, March 17th. La fay-leh Pádraig.
La fay-leh Pádraig Origins.
Yeah. The religious and cultural holiday celebrated across the world.
Yeah, that's mad. And I do, of course, understand that it's because we have such an immigrant population that there's Irish everywhere.
Yeah. Okay, but before we get into that.
Yeah. No, let's
Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. That's all I wanted to say. Yeah. Right, now, go. Absolutely. Cultural across the world.
Yeah.
What are you saying? Yeah,
because, we're a massive immigrant population. There's Irish everywhere. Obviously, that's why. But lots of countries and lots of cultures have a history of immigration, but they don't kind of celebrate their national day with the vigour that the world seems to hold for Paddy's Day. Maybe it's all to do with the drink.
Anywhere I've ever been in the world, and it's not necessarily been on Paddy's Day, it was where's the Irish bar?
Where's the Irish pub? Yeah.
Because that's where the crack is, man.
Yeah, and like even if you're not Irish, that's where people want to be, is the Irish pub, because it is, it's...
Because that's where the crack is.
It is, like, you're guaranteed a bit of live music, you're guaranteed good people,
What's the significance of the 17th of March?
It's supposed to be the day Paddy died, isn't it?
Died? Yeah.
Although that is a 17th century claim that's when he died.
Well, a lot of the stuff I found that was written, because most of the stuff that's written about St. Patrick was written hundreds of years after his death.
I mean,
it's around the 10th century, and it was like he died in the 5th century, late 4th, early 5th century, early to mid 5th century, and it's all saying it was around St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
So writings from then, yes. That's when he died, and somebody corroborated it as much as you can corroborate anything.
I mean, the only kind of contemporary document that we have about him is his own confession, isn't it?
He wrote a letter. Yeah. What's that thing I was looking at as well? An epistle?
Yeah, an
epistle. Epistle.
Yeah.
And that's just Latin for letter.
Okay, right.
Which I never knew. So when I'd be in church with my parents when I was a kid, and it was
John's epistle to the fucking whatever. Yeah,
it was just letter.
Right. Okay.
And I never knew it, and I was like, what the fuck is an epistle? So you spend 20 minutes thinking about epistle. What is an epistle? And miss the whole thing. Just call it a letter, lads. Letter from Jonathan. Yeah. And they do in some things that they say.
I mean, if you're sitting there bursting for a wee, last thing you want to hear is anything with the word
piss
in it.
Yeah. I was in the church for a relative's funeral recently.
Oh,
relatively recently. And there are toilets up the back now.
Yeah, that was never a thing in her day.
No, that wasn't a thing.
You fucking held it till you got to the pub afterwards.
That's it. Everybody ran across the parking lot afterwards and into the nearest pub.
Into the pub, for a dressed orange with cherries and cream and all that stuff we used to get as kids.
But anyway.
And a good old ballad session.
Anyway.
That used to be the Sunday morning ritual.
But the funeral I was at was in England, and there were toilets. And I haven't been in a church in Ireland in a while.
No, I've been to a few funerals and different things.
Yeah, but there are toilets now.
Yeah, they do gentle. Yeah.
So, progress. So the
kicking and screaming.
As you said, and I don't know why I thought 17th of March would have been when he lived, when he was born. But maybe I'm just...
Well, given his history,
maybe I'm just applying a context from Christmas onto St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
Because Christmas is Christ's birth.
Yeah, but it's not, though.
No, I know, but you know what I mean. It's the context.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just applying that context.
It's the birth of the sword.
But it's 17th of March is when St. Patrick died.
Yeah. Allegedly.
385 to 461. And he's buried in Saul in Downpatrick.
Again, allegedly.
Allegedly.
A lot of this stuff is very tenuous. Very, very tenuous.
Now, you're not going to spend the whole of
No,
this
I'm not.
celebratory St.
I just
Patrick's
mean from a
episode.
historian point of view. Like, I mean, any of the research I've done, the historians are pretty much questioning all of what is established.
And look, you can question all of it, any of it and all of it. But, you know.
Like the one in Downpatrick, the tombstone that's there is from the 20th century, from the early 20th century. And there's no evidence to suggest that, other than that, you know, tombstone, there's no evidence to even corroborate the fact that he is buried there, other than the local deacon claimed it and got a fucking stone erected. So, yeah.
Yeah, you know...
I know, I'm not going to nitpick all your research.
A lot of it is it's not my research. It's everybody else's.
Yeah, so it's just, you know, everything comes with a pinch of salt when we're talking about something that has little to no contemporary evidence at all.
Yeah, it's
a long time ago.
Most of it is a long time ago.
Yeah.
But surprisingly, there's no evidence for much of this, where there is evidence for other stuff. Anyway, look, fossil records and all that. Maybe, yeah.
It's not quite that long ago.
Quite a lot of it is.
Okay.
I mean, fossils don't have to be millions of years old, do they?
Takes a long time.
Okay,
let's move on.
Before we started, I was reading about because, and we'll get into this afterwards, but I'm going to touch on it now. The whole snakes. I was like, were there snakes in Ireland?
No.
And no, I know there weren't. And I looked it up, and I was surprised to find evidence of animals that did exist.
Oh, yeah.
And like, if you take the Irish elk, which wasn't an elk, it was a deer. It was a large Irish deer,
wasn't it? It was fucking giant.
It was big. It was huge. But the fact that it's called Irish elk is because it was found in Ireland, but they were found all across Europe, to as far as Russia.
Yeah.
So they were deer. They were large deer. They weren't elks. Okay. Elks are a different thing altogether.
Okay.
But it's just they because of their headgear and antlers that they wore, they just said, there's one, there's another. Elk, Irish elk. There's an Irish elk. But
I get what you're saying.
They found skeletons of that in bogs.
Yeah.
You know, and that wouldn't that go to some sort of fucking
Natural History Museum?
It's brilliant. It's an amazing thing.
I believe there is one in the Dead Zoo, No,
I spent
pretty sure there is an Irish elk in there,
But that was, they were 10,000. The oldest one in Russia was dated, was radiocarbon dated to 10,000 years ago. You know, so you mightn't call that a fossil. That's in stone and sedimentation and it's compressed and all that kind of crap. But it's fucking old.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's prehistoric.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know, might not be dinosaurs, but it's prehistory.
Yeah.
Prehistoric.
Yeah,
so that's what I mean.
Yeah. Oh, I understand what you mean,
Yeah, good.
I get you. It's not necessarily fossilized if it's been preserved in a bog, though.
No, I know. But I've just explained all that.
Now, and come here.
What I mean.
It's interesting, though, when you're talking about other animals and stuff that Ireland had. Brown bears, though.
We'll get into all that later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But you will circle back, definitely. Yeah. But bears and wolves and all that kind of shit.
Yeah, that's fucking
mad. St. Patrick didn't bring Christianity to Ireland. It had been here since the 4th or 5th century.
Okay.
He didn't bring it in. He helped spread it, but he didn't bring it in.
He wasn't the first, in other words.
Yeah, no. He wasn't the pioneer.
Right, okay. He just converted more than the other guys. Or did he?
Maybe his backstory was more interesting and they just went, let's fucking tag on to this guy.
Yeah.
Let's tag it all here, you know? Because he wasn't Irish. He was what they guess is Welsh because he was kidnapped by raiding parties, Irish
raiding parties. From the west coast of Britain anyway, most likely modern day Wales,
He was kidnapped by raiding parties from Ireland. And he was brought back as a slave. Pirates, but
probably Granny Nualia.
Well, she wasn't around then.
No, that was a long time before that, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. That was like 1,000 years before.
But then it was probably Granny Nualia's great granny.
Yeah, well, it was somebody.
great. Yeah.
But anyway, he was taken back to Ireland. And when he was in Ireland, he was put to work as a slave.
Yeah.
Looking after the sheep, and he had a vision.
Yeah. Now he prayed up to 100 times a day.
He prayed morning, noon, and night because he'd come from Roman
Britain, and his father was a deacon.
Yeah.
And so they were a deeply religious family.
So he was well aware of how to pray.
Yeah.
And who to pray to.
Yeah.
And if I had been kidnapped and I was told to, in a language I didn't understand, to get up there and look after those fucking sheep,
I'd be praying for them.
I'd be praying morning, noon, and night as well.
Well, if I was that way inclined.
Whether it's that way inclined is who you're praying to. Yeah. I'd be praying morning, noon, and night.
To the universe.
No, to whoever.
I hear you. No atheist in a foxhole kind of thing, is it?
He had a vision one night and it was fucking run. And he legged it. And he made his way to somewhere on the East Coast.
Yeah.
And
there was a ship, wasn't there?
There was a ship that was just about to sail and they wouldn't let him on.
Yeah.
And apparently
as he
walked away and prayed another quickie and fucking get me out of this shit. And the captain said, no, right, come on. And they took him across to England again. So he found his way home.
Yeah.
And then
he walked.
I read a few accounts of it. Yeah. He found his way back to mainland Britain.
It may not have been mainland Britain, though. It may have been Gaul.
That's what I'm saying. A few accounts. He did.
Because he talks about being in a desert for 28 days.
Yeah. And it's 4 or 5 days over to Britain. But I read an account or two where he was at sea for 20-something days.
Okay.
Or something.
Right.
Or maybe just longer than that. And so it may have been France that he found his way to, or where they were going to. And then the whole trekking the 28 days in a barren place, maybe it was Spain or something like that. You know, the way it's southern European hot weather. Yeah. And they'd fuck all food. And the captain and all the crew said, fucking pray to your God to feed us. And they came across some fucking wild boar or whatever it was and butchered the shit out of them.
Yeah.
And then when they ran out of their food, they spied what was civilization then. Yeah. So that got them in there. Yeah. So while he was practicing to be a priest or a missionary or whatever it was, he had another divine intervention saying, go back there. Like he said, I heard all the voices in the land I was in crying out at once, come back to us, come back home, was significantly what I read. I was like, fucking home. Yeah. But he wasn't born in Ireland, but he claimed us.
He assimilated.
It's us. Yeah. He identified as Irish eventually.
As much as he assimilated the Irish into Christianity, they assimilated them into nationality, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, they adopted him the way Irish people do.
Yeah,
exactly. You're fucking one of us now.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of way? Which is a lovely trait that we haven't lost.
Yes. Well, most of us haven't.
Well, yeah, but there's always a few outliers, isn't there?
Yeah.
But anyway, so he found his way back to Ireland, which made me think it must have been a hell of a fucking vision that he had. The place that I was, where I was a slave, and chances are he was beaten a fair few times.
Oh, yeah.
Being a slave.
And going back there,
but the place I was, I heard crying out, so I'm going to go back there. Yeah. That's the earliest version of Stockholm Syndrome I've ever put
heard. Yeah. You're not fucking wrong.
Yeah.
But like, you'd have to wonder now, right, I'm going to come at this from a scientific, atheistic fucking point of view, right? Is visions, right? What are we talking about here? Is he fucking eating some weird mushrooms? They're
the questions that everything you're about to say. Everything you're about to say are the questions I had. So go.
Right. So yeah, basically, I mean, is he fucking drinking some fucking mushroom tea here? Is he mentally ill? Are they dreams? You know, that he's taken fucking literally. I mean, what is it? They're not visions from fucking God anyway. I know that.
I don't know.
Or maybe they are. Maybe I'm just being arrogant in saying that.
You've no proof that they're not.
I don't take them as visions of God. Yeah.
But if
or is he just fucking saying it to, you know, to lend veracity to his fucking claims, you know?
If he believes so much in his God, why wouldn't that affect his dreams?
Yeah.
So if it was a dream, maybe that's
absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's probably the most likely explanation.
Or he just had fucking mushrooms. I mean,
Yeah, but even at that, again, if these are fucking hallucinations, or your hallucinations, your delusions are always based on your beliefs anyway. Like an atheist is not going to get a fucking vision from fucking God. Doesn't matter how many mushrooms they eat. You know what I mean? It's your own psyche that.
That's my point.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. How intense his belief was. Wouldn't that colour his dreams?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Either way, he had this, whether he had dreams or whether he had an epiphany in a prayer session or whether he ate a bunch of magic mushrooms or drank the tea or whatever it was.
The lotus flower or whatever the fuck.
Or whatever the fuck it was, he went back to Ireland.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
I didn't read, and I suppose because it wasn't interesting anymore, I didn't read that he ever went home after that. After he got to Ireland.
Yeah, he did.
Did he?
He did, yeah. Is this before or after he's trained as a deacon and been made a bishop?
I'm at the point where he's now studying.
Yeah, no, he went back home.
What we think is France.
Yeah, no, he did go back home.
Did he go back home after that? Because I know he went home before that.
And he was charged with a sin
that he committed when he was 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was afterwards. That was when he was already a bishop. He was disgraced.
I don't know.
And went back to Ireland again.
For a third time?
Yeah, yeah.
No, I didn't. I thought you only went there twice.
Maybe.
When he was a slave and then when he went back for the long haul.
Okay, so let's backtrack then if we're going to say that then, right? Then let's cover where he's trained as a deacon, possibly in Gaul, possibly in Britain, we don't really know. And then he goes back home.
Mainland Europe was what I read. I never read he trained in Britain in any religious capacity or anything like that. And
okay, so you've gone deeper into it than I have then, because the historian that I only looked at one source, basically said that they think it might have been Gaul, but he never really says where it was. And then he goes back home. He's with his family. His family begged him not to go back to Ireland. So yeah, he did definitely go home.
Okay.
Yeah, because his family begged him not to go back, and then the charges came about. He was being charged with some sin. It doesn't say what it was.
No, it didn't.
Something from his past.
Looked as much as I could and I couldn't find out.
Fucking probably cracking one out behind the bike sheds. I don't know. But anyway, he does a legger back to Ireland then. So, and again, we're talking about his vision to go back to Ireland, or maybe just want to get the fuck away from the charge he was being charged with, fucking vision's a handy fucking excuse for that, isn't it? So so off he goes back and he fucking sets out to convert the fucking pagan Irish then to Christianity.
But it was missionaries, not missionary.
Yeah,
not St. Patrick.
There's another guy. Oh God, what was
Columba?
No. There's a really Roman name. Wasn't Patricius? That was him. I can't remember the guy's name. I've just been looking at a video on him today. But anyway, he was already a Christian missionary in Ireland, and he was leaving. And I think they say that he left in like 460 something or whatever. Yeah. Now it doesn't say when Pádraig arrived, but it's like a lot of the more contemporary versions of the story, like from the kind of 17th, 18th, 19th century, literally have attributed it to the very next year.
Right.
So your man leaves and Pádraig arrives. But
okay,
well, if we take
the date of his death and the date of his birth, date of his death, and find somewhere in between.
Yeah, so we're talking around 40. Like he was 40 when he went back, they reckon.
Yeah, it would have been. Because without going into the allegedly part of things, 461 is the 5th century, and that's when his death was recorded. Yeah,
so they're talking like 450, 440, something like that.
Yeah.
But as I said, like it is recorded that this guy, this Roman sounding guy, I can't fucking think of his name. He left in, I don't know, let's say 446, just for fucking argument's sake. It's probably not that, but just, And then the fucking 17th, 18th, 19th century versions of it have Pádraig arriving the very next year.
Okay.
But there's nothing contemporary to back that up at all.
No, and it's very convenient for the story.
Yeah, and it's kind of to show a continuity of Christianity.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
But it's very convenient for the story in that there's not this time where nothing was happening.
Yeah.
It doesn't fade to black and fade back up again and go 10 years later. Blah, 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 blah.
Exactly.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe it's just for the ease of telling
Yeah.
that it's the very next year
Mm.
he came in. It was like tag team wrestling.
Yeah.
One
yeah.
guy got out and one guy
Yeah,
got
well,
in.
that's how it's being portrayed, but there's
Yeah,
nothing to
yeah.
suggest that it was that.
Yeah. But
that
St.
fluid.
Patrick isn't the only patron saint of Ireland.
No, that's correct.
There's Bridget.
We have the female one, yeah, and only recently, I think, was this year or last year the first time that she's actually got a public holiday.
That
as well.
was, yeah, that's St. Bridget's Day. That's 1st
just
of February.
1st of February, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, little old atheist me who doesn't celebrate these fucking religious feast days, that's one I do, Mark, because it's the whole kind of, No, it is.
I'm not laughing at you. I was about to say, I don't celebrate St. Bridget's Day.
Oh.
I celebrate Bridget's Day.
Yes.
I celebrate
Bridget's
in
Day.
bulk.
In bulk.
Yeah.
Yeah. The coming of the spring.
Yeah.
And I love that, that really famous Saint Bridget's cross is nothing of the sort.
Yeah.
That's an old pagan symbol.
Yeah.
That's an old pagan symbol. It has nothing to do with Christianity.
So if
I
you're
have one of
listening to
those in
this
my house now.
and your kids or your nieces or nephews or whoever it is rock up from school with a Bridget's cross with pride, you should hang
Hang
that.
it in your wall.
Yeah, because that's...
It brings luck and prosperity and a good harvest.
And it's pagan. It's not
pagan in its origins.
It's not Christian.
Absolutely.
Yeah, love it. Love it. But Columba is the other patron saint.
Okay.
And I don't know why he is. And I didn't look up why he is. So he probably is...
Well, I know he founded a monastery in Derry. I do know that much.
Well, that must have been on his way to Scotland because he converted to Scotland.
Yes.
Yeah.
Might have been on his way back from Scotland.
Yeah, I don't think
he may have come
back.
from
I
Derry
didn't read
to Scotland and
back.
then back or whatever. But yeah, he did found a monastery in Derry.
Yeah.
St. Columbus Wells. Still a place in Derry.
There's St. Columban's is on the way to Navan as well.
Yeah.
There's a place in there, yeah.
They have a kind of retreat there, don't they?
Yes, they do. It's kind of a returned home or something like that.
I know, yeah, but schools can go and do retreats and stuff there. And
yeah, there is lots. I mean, it's open to a lot of activity. Yeah, but primarily it's.
We went
I think
there
it's for retired
priests. Memory serves me.
Yeah. So X amount of time later, because we don't know when it is, I'm not gonna sit here trying to work out when it was because I'm not that interested. But
no, exactly.
X amount of time later, he returned to Ireland.
Yeah.
And him and another bunch of missionaries converted pagan Ireland to Christianity in quick succession.
Yeah.
And we were talking about this.
Very quickly, yeah.
We were talking about this a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
For me, the way I can equate that, the way I can balance that in my head is you had your stronger, more powerful tribes in Ireland. And they controlled the
we're very
less powerful tribes.
Yeah, like we're very much a feudal society at this time, so it's kind of clan and kind of
So
if you could convert a powerful warlord to Christianity, you kind of by de facto then converted his entire tribe.
Because if you're the powerful warlord and you're now Christian and I'm the subservient, then it's we're not Christian we're not pagan anymore, lads. We're Christian now.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I was getting to the whole kind of, at the point of a sword kind of thing that I was saying to you.
Earlier.
More than having it, Pádraig didn't have his own army as such, but he very quickly recruited the kind of politically powerful,
So were you talking
powerful.
about at the point of a metaphorical sword or a literal?
Kind of once you had kind of the more powerful, the fucking clans with the biggest army, shall we say, or the biggest stick. Once you had those boys on your side, everybody else kind of followed very quickly. And if they didn't, it was fuck around and find out,
But my point is, I read no account anywhere of a battle.
Not so much battles, it would have been skirmishes, I would imagine. In that whole...
I'm quiet. I'm silent because I'm trying to think of anything I read, and there's nothing I read. Yeah, and I could be wrong.
Yeah, no, I understand that, but it kind of stands to reason. And it may not even have been violent. Do you know what I mean? It was just, the case of, okay, fucking Johnny up the road with his 3,000 men, they're all Christian now, and they don't like pagans anymore, and we've got 1,100 men, and
we're all Christian now too. Yeah.
Let's be Christian here rather than start a fucking war with this guy, and that kind of,
Yeah, so
You know, and I'm sure there was, you know, there was politics, there was fucking, you know, convert to Christianity and we'll give you this bit of land, or you know, there was all that Game of Thrones shit going on anyway. Regardless, you know, take the religion out of it. You had this chieftain was teaming up with that chieftain, but he was really stabbing him in the back and teaming up with the other guy, and
so
that was going on all the time anyway.
It is a metaphorical sword, even though there were real ones there.
Yeah.
Like it is at the point of a metaphorical sword.
Yeah.
They converted pagan Ireland to Christianity in quick succession.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's what they mean by he drove the snakes out of Ireland. The snakes are the pagans. They're not slithery reptiles that never existed on this land because the fucking seas around this island are too cold for them to migrate.
Well, it's not even that they would have migrated through the sea. And you're right, there was never any snakes in Ireland.
Not in the wild, anyway.
There's snakes in Britain.
Yeah.
There are 3 kinds of snakes in Britain, and one of them is venomous or poisonous, which don't know which. Anyway.
Yeah, the viper, I think you said it was, wasn't it? Or the adder. The adder.
Yeah, the adder.
Black adder.
Yeah. The adder is poisonous, but the thing is, there was never a land bridge to Ireland.
No.
That they could cross, and there would have been connecting Britain and mainland Europe for millions of years.
I know, but like you would think with all our trade routes and everything else that we had with mainland Europe, with Britain, that like it's actually surprising that they never. Like snakes tend to slither here, there, and fucking everywhere. Do you know what I mean? It's hard to believe that 2 of them didn't get into the fucking hold of a ship, you know, somewhere and end up. Fucking,
why 2 of them? What do you fucking?
So they could breathe.
Noah?
No, so they could fucking breathe. You know what I mean?
Fucking Noah here with his bleeding
one's
ark.
not gonna fucking. Okay. It's hard to believe a pregnant snake didn't fucking slither into the hold of a ship.
It's not hard for me at all. Ireland's climate is not conducive to snakes.
Yeah, but it's very similar to fucking Britain's. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's quite similar to Britain's.
I don't think it is, because Britain would get much better weather in the summer.
In the south.
And much worse in the winter.
Yeah.
Like that. Like
probably true, actually.
They'd protect Ireland, inverted commas, geologically.
Yeah.
Not geologically, fucking weather-wise. What's that fucking word I'm looking for?
Yeah, because I know, like, I mean, this is going to sound fucking ridiculous, but the first time I really kind of fucking understood that there was a fairly big disparagement, even in parts of Britain, was watching fucking Big Brother. Fucking season 2, like fucking years ago. And I'll always remember that they spent the whole fucking season out in the garden because it was a massive heat wave in London. But we were all fucking freezing over here. Like, there was no fucking heat wave over here.
See, there's nothing to protect us from whatever's blown in from the Atlantic seaboard.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but they were like literally baking.
I was in Cambridge last summer for a week, and I've never... I experienced hot weather like that once here in that summer where it was everything baked.
Oh God, yeah. That was 3-4 years ago. Yeah, I mean,
that was the only time I've ever experienced that.
That was during the Rugby World Cup. That was during the Rugby World Cup, wasn't it?
It would have been before it, because the Rugby World Cup was September, October.
Was it? No, because I remember doing my coaching badge, and I mean, we were all absolutely fucking sweating. Like, it was horrendously hot. And Ireland played Romania that day. It
would have been September.
Yeah, it was hot.
But that's not the one I'm talking about. I'm talking about the whole summer that it baked.
Yeah, that's about 5-6 years ago, isn't it?
Yeah. Was that not?
Might have been longer. Like, years fly by as you get older, don't they?
Yeah, it sucks.
And I was looking at my Facebook memories this morning and stuff from like 7 fucking years ago. I'm like, that was fucking 7 years ago.
Okay, and getting back to Pádraig.
Sorry, we're a long way off.
There's when I was looking all this shit up, there was a difference. It struck me there was a difference in the conversion of pagan Ireland to Christian Ireland than anywhere else,
because it was all literally
Christianity has ever been and ever converted people.
Because it was literally done at the tip of a sword. Everywhere else.
Everywhere else.
Everywhere
yes,
else
it was.
Bloodbath.
It was fuck everyone, shit up.
Convert or fucking die.
Not even convert or die. Just go in, lay waste to everything, lay waste to structures, belief structures, whatever it was.
Yeah, the Crusades.
Butcher everyone, and then say, the Crusades, and then say, this is now what you believe.
Yeah.
And that wasn't done in Ireland.
No.
It was very insidious.
It was much more insidious and nefarious and politically done. It was a political coup as opposed to a fucking bloody coup, you know?
And I'm not saying
coup
this was
nonetheless.
because of St. Patrick, but what he did as well was he took the most powerful pagan rituals that would have been observed and adhered to in Ireland,
Yeah.
and he
Stuck a
slapped a
cross on
cross on them.
Yeah.
And it was very, very clever thing to do.
Yeah, but it was done like that everywhere, wasn't it, as well? And, well, no, I suppose.
No, they butchered everybody and said,
Yeah.
this is now what you believe.
Yeah, and then the few survivors still weren't too sure, and that's when they started to kind of say, well, listen, you know your fucking winter solstice, yeah, that's when Jesus was born. You know your summer solstice, yeah, that's when he died.
Yeah, well, summer
Or your
solstice,
equinox,
right?
rather.
So, for example, he superimposed a sun, which is a powerful Irish symbol because
Yeah.
they worship the sun,
Yeah, yeah,
onto a Christian cross, and he created that crossover.
yeah. Yeah.
It was very clever.
Yeah, and I mean, that's literally where the whole idea of, you know, Christmas comes from. Even like, you know, when I even talk about Ireland here, but all, you know, all around, you had all the fucking sun worshipping cultures, and then obviously winter solstice is when the old sun dies and it's reborn. You know, fucking the shortest day of the year.
Yeah.
That's your sun, you know. Now, how they flip that around to him being born, I don't. Well, I suppose, yeah, the day after the shortest day of the year is the rebirth of the sun.
Well,
You know?
it's astronomically speaking, the shortest day of the year is the 21st December.
Yeah.
And that's the sun appears to stop.
Yeah.
And it's over the next 3 days, it starts moving back in the other direction,
Exactly,
or appears
yeah.
to.
Yeah, so that is
start
the
moving back in
birth.
the
Yeah,
other
like,
direction.
you
And
know, the
that's
old sun
rebirth.
dies and the
Yeah,
the new
yeah.
sun is reborn, which is kind of like resurrection as well, which, you know, why I didn't get the Easter kind of thing. And then the inverse of that then in the spring is, you know, the new sun dies and then it, you know, and again is reborn then after the shortest day of the year, or sorry, the longest day of the year. So yeah, it's all,
Which
you
is
know,
not in spring, June.
yeah, sorry, equinox is the mid distance
Yeah,
between
yeah.
both of the solstices. Yeah, so it's all very stolen, basically, you know. It's the word I'm looking for.
Everything is stolen.
Yeah.
No, and I'm not just talking about Christianity.
No, yeah, there's
everything
nothing new.
everywhere
Nothing's
is stolen.
new. Everything's
Yeah.
reused.
Everything's stolen.
Yeah,
And
let's
everybody's
not
got their
call it
own
stolen. Let's call it recycled.
Everything's got their own interpretation.
Mm.
Everyone has their own interpretation.
Yeah, I mean, the
and every culture
Egyptians,
does.
you know, fucking similar thing. The Greeks, you know, it just comes from the human nature to look at the sky and wonder, you know, and that's what it is. It's
And
to try and understand what they're looking at, you know.
Another example was St. Patrick explaining the Holy Trinity
Yeah.
using the shamrock.
Yeah. Now, is there any historical evidence for that in any way, shape, or form at all?
I don't know.
There's not.
And there's no historical evidence, and there's no historical evidence to say he didn't.
Well,
maybe he
this
did.
is a myth that was literally 19th century. It was the first time it's ever been
Quite
mentioned.
possibly. But as we just said, everything is reshaped and reused
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
and recycled.
But come here, just on that, I was actually watching a video this morning, just kind of doing a little refresher on this. I was watching a few YouTube videos, but there was one by an American guy, which kind of took me aback, and he goes, as we all know, there's no such thing as shamrock. And I'm like, what? It's, you know, various different types of clovers, and he then proceeds to show, like, you know, live photographs of 4-leaf fucking clovers. I was like, what's this guy talking about? Do you know what I mean?
I have...
There's no such thing as shamrock. Okay, I beg to differ.
I have...
It is a type of clover, yes.
After I wrote another example of St. Patrick explaining the Holy Trinity using the 3-leaf clover, or 3-leaf shamrock, sorry, I have in brackets written here, Q Paul rant.
Why?
Because you usually rant.
Yeah, well, there you go. And it's not a rant. I mean, I'm just trying to keep this fucking podcast as, you know,
now,
historically accurate as we can without any of the fucking...
Q Paul rant with a smiley face beside it.
Ah, you know, I know, yeah. Jesus, I know you mean it in fucking good jest. Jeez, don't get me wrong. But no, I don't think it's a rant to, you know, question myths, you know? And
no,
it is a
God,
myth.
It's not. No.
It is a myth.
It's all myths.
Now, don't get me wrong, I'll still wear my shamrock on Paddy's Day. Absolutely.
Nope.
And I know, I'm going to let you get there now in a second. I wear it because it's a symbol of nationhood. It's a, you know, I know the harp is the official symbol of Ireland, but the shamrock is fucking synonymous with us now. And, it has far fucking transgressed its original fucking St. Patrick's thing. For me, anyway, certainly. It's no longer just about fucking St. Patrick to me, anyway.
I'll wear my snake badge, thanks very much.
Yes. Del has a wonderful, Ouroboros, what's the word you used?
Mobius
strip. Celtic snake eating its own tail in a figure 8 pin badge. It's gorgeous.
Green.
It's fabulous. It's green as well.
Yeah, it's lovely.
And he wears that in Paddy.
I'll stick a picture of it on underneath.
Yeah, do, because it's fucking class. And I'm going to get myself one because they're fucking awesome.
Yeah, it is. It's brilliant. And so I wear that on St. Patrick's Day and go around for the whole day whispering, "Fuck you, St. Patrick."
In a world full of fucking St. Patrick's, be a fucking snake, man.
Be a pagan.
Yeah. Look, I love the old... I'm not religious, I'm atheist, you know that. But I love the old pagan superstitions and the pagan cultural stuff.
We'll get into some pagan stuff later on.
Okay, cool.
But
I want to do a whole episode on that.
I was reading... When I was reading it up, I felt much more at home reading it. When I was reading it, I was like, this is just lovely.
This is what I like. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it is. Yeah. It's just nice. Like, there's no deity involved.
It's not that it's pagan and you're a fucking sinner and all that kind of thing.
You're a fucking
but
black pagan,
it was reverence of nature.
Yeah.
It's lovely. It's
of
so
your
nice.
Surroundings
Yeah, it was
the power of nature, the
universe,
resonant frequencies of fucking nature. Like,
they
love that idea.
invoked the power of the universe through their rituals and stuff like that, which is fucking amazing.
Like you don't have to, and I know in most ways they did kind of deify the astronomical bodies that we see in the sky, or did they? Or is that just us as a religion looking back on it and kind of attributing that? Like, did they worship the sun as a god, or did they just fucking realize how important the fucking sun was to their agricultural agrarian lifestyle?
They must have. Well, they saw its importance, and they were like, "That's ever giving."
Yeah,
and it sustains us. And why wouldn't they worship?
Yeah, it's right to fucking worship the sun because we're fucked without it. And they worship
the moon.
Yeah.
Like, the whole thing is just lovely.
Yeah.
And I was reading it, I was going, this is just fucking lovely.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, like, at some point in somebody's life, they read something that moves them, that they might necessarily follow or believe in.
Yeah, well, I had that epiphany a long time ago. Yeah.
And just go.
Really get into the pagan stuff.
And just go, I've just had a moment. And then within themselves just say, and then they adhere. And if it's religion, it's religion. If it's whatever it is, but if that's what they believe, hang on. Yeah. Whatever they believe is theirs to believe. But for people that have that moment, that it's an epiphany, it's an eye-opening moment, and they're like, oh my God, why don't I believe this? And then they go ahead and believe it and live their life according to the rules and do unto others and all that kind of thing. Now, hang on a second. I had that same thing when I was reading about the paganism and their rituals and the reverence to nature and to all that and the universe and the sun. I was like, this is fucking incredible. Yeah. This is lovely.
Yeah. I mean, for the first time this year, I celebrated winter solstice like properly. So I went out
me on that,
on the morning. I may have said this in an episode already. I'm not sure. I went out on the morning of the 24th. Now, I'm lucky. I live right beside a beautiful public park with a lake and stuff. So I went out on a mission to find holly, mistletoe if I could, some ivy, and some pine, which are the kind of core kind of winter solstice pagan things. And you kind of recognize they're kind of synonymous with the other festival that's around that time of the year as well, But anyway, on the way down to the park, before I even reached the park, there's a whole lot of bushes along one side of the road, And the council had cleared a load of the bushes, they'd cut them right back. And they're like in the middle, standing on its own, was a big fucking holly fucking bush or tree or whatever you call fucking holly. I was like, holy shit. It was like holy it was there waiting for me, So fucking straight over.
What? I'm not getting any credit for that?
Yeah, sorry, holly shit. Holy shit, Batman. But so it was just there. Like, I didn't have to go search, and it was right fucking there. And it wasn't there the day before. That was bizarre. Well, I mean, it was there, but all the other surrounding fucking shrubs hadn't been cut back, so it wasn't as obvious. So yeah, in I went and I asked it, was it okay to cut a little snip of it off itself? Because that's what you do, apparently.
You don't just take.
No, you have to ask the tree or the plant if it's okay. So I snipped off some holly and then I went in and I found some ivy on the trunks of trees in there. So I got some of that and I got some I don't know if it was mistletoe. I think it might have been mistletoe.
I haven't seen mistletoe in years.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to holly, but it has these.
It is, yeah, smooth-leaved.
Smooth leaves and it has
white berries.
Yeah. So I fucking found something that looked fairly like that. So I took some of that. I took some pine that was on the ground. We had some like fairly heavy wind anyway, so there was loads of pine on the ground, some pine cones, and I went home and I made a wreath. And I made a little altar in the bedroom, a little winter solstice altar. And then I seen this thing on YouTube, which I thought was fantastic, fabulous, right? You make up almost like a broth, right? Now, you're not drinking this stuff, just to be clear, with, what was it, lemons, oranges, kind of citrusy fruits, cranberry, stuff like that. So, I used the cranberry juice, a carton of cranberry juice. I couldn't find cranberries. So I got, lemons, oranges, cranberry juice. There was a few other things, fucking cinnamon, different things. And you bring it to the boil. Right?
Sounds like something you drink.
Yeah,
that sounds great.
But anyway, it's the smell.
Right, okay.
The odour of it all around the house.
Yeah.
And it's so Christmassy. Oh, and so solsticey, which, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, cool.
Oh, yeah, no, that's what it was. I put some pine and stuff in it as well. So that, you wouldn't drink it.
You could drink pine tea.
You can, but you wouldn't.
Yes.
Well, I wouldn't.
Can have seen Bear Grylls.
Yeah, so, and that whole smell percolates the whole house like while it's boiling,
Yeah.
And it's great. It felt really, really seasonal,
Yeah.
So that's something I'm going to do every year now.
Good.
Because I really enjoy it.
I'm going to start doing my.
But it was just being out. Anyway, sorry. The reason I started telling that story was just the act of being out there in nature, looking for this stuff, finding it, was just really peaceful and really
One of the
nice,
things I was reading about in bulk as well was one of the practices is to get out into nature and go for a walk. Yeah, and it was like, what should I do? Hypothetically question, and then the answers, frequently asked questions. And then it was write poetry. I'm a shit poet.
No, that's not.
Yeah. There once was a woman named Bridget. The weather was fucking frigid.
That they said she was enough.
One day she went out, blah, blah, blah. I'm
no good.
No, I'm not a good poet. And any poem I ever read ends up sounding like a limerick.
Yeah.
I don't know how to read poems either. So, no. So, but there's things, get out into nature for a walk, but it's all about getting into nature. It's lovely. It's deadly.
I'm literally biting my tongue here. I come up with one for Valentine's Day, but I'm not going to fucking say it on air.
No, don't. Anyway, back to St. Patrick. March 17th. So the first recorded St. Patrick's Day, and this might go back to the question we had and sort of answered at the beginning about Irish pubs are just the best crack, Irish or everywhere in the world. The first recorded St. Patrick's Day in what is now America.
St. Patrick's Day festival, you mean?
St.
Kind of
Patrick's
celebration.
Day celebration was in a Spanish colony in what is now St. Augustine in Florida.
Oh, okay.
And it was organised by the colony's Irish vicar. And records show that it was because they were homesick.
Yeah.
So they would have they would have grown up with these beliefs and these celebrations.
And what year are we looking at this one?
I don't know.
Because I know the first ever St. Patrick's Day parade in New York was in the 1700s, Del.
1762.
Yes, and it was a small group of Irish men serving in the British Army who paraded down.
Because they were homesick.
Yeah, and they paraded down to the nearest tavern, which kind of gives fucking lie to the fucking stereotype, doesn't it?
There was one in Boston in 1737.
Yeah.
So 1762 is New York, 1737 just up the road. It took that many years.
Now I know some of my rallies in New England do listen from time to time, and I definitely hope they're listening to this one. So there you go, you beat the fucking New Yorkers again.
Okay, I get that.
Go Boston.
I get stuff.
Go Boston.
It is thought, though, that endangered slaves celebrated St. Patrick's Day in American colonies before all that.
Right, so you're talking in the Caribbean and stuff?
Yeah.
Isn't that where they would have been? Yeah. And that is an episode we are going to do.
Yes, it is.
Very
and
soon.
I was watching a documentary on it because you just go down a rabbit hole when you start looking at this shit. And it was from the 60s or 70s, and there was a guy talking, and he had one of those stick-thin, large marble on the top of it, microphones, those real...
This wasn't the Hell or Barbados, was it?
No, I can't remember the name
That's
of it,
but
he was talking about kids. He was talking to kids from Barbados. What's your name? And they had the most Irish sounding names.
Mickey O'Shea and
Fergal, Kelly and all that kind of thing. Yeah. But it was great.
But no, To Hell or Barbados is a documentary you'll have to watch.
I will. But that's a whole different podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one we're going to do. Because it was indentured slaves that were celebrating St. Patrick's Day, they didn't just take it west. They would have taken it east. It would have gone everywhere. So it became a celebration. Because as
Halloween.
Irish people, which, much the same as Halloween. But as Irish people, it wouldn't be, no, this is their celebration. Fuck off.
I know, of course.
It would have been, come on, lads, this is the crack.
No, I'd imagine Day of the Dead and stuff is exactly the same. Like, if you want to take part in that, the Mexicans
not the movie.
aren't going to tell you to fuck off,
Yeah, not the movie.
Or even fucking July the 4th. Like, Americans will be welcoming enough for you to fucking celebrate that too, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
But, there is something about Paddy's Day that just seems to be fucking infectious.
That was that answer, yeah. That I don't really want to discuss it anymore is because I have an issue with Independence Day.
Oh, yeah. Come here, listen,
that's a whole different podcast.
That's not even a podcast. That's
anyway.
Fucking things you think and don't say that.
1961.
Right, go on.
Hotel owner Tom Woolley convinced city officials to dye Savannah's river green for St. Patrick's Day.
Right, okay, Savannah.
Yeah.
I always thought it was Chicago.
Yeah.
Because they still do it in Chicago, but I thought I read somewhere Chicago was the first to do it, maybe not.
City officials agreed and didn't put enough dye in.
Right.
And it didn't quite go green enough. It was only greenish, and they decided never ever to dye the river again.
Okay, well, Chicago have it nailed.
Woolley claims to have personally suggested the same idea to Chicago's mayor, but some quarters refute this claim.
Okay.
So maybe he did, and maybe they're denying him of credit, or maybe he saw the Savannah River and he went, well, that's bugger shite. And then Chicago did a good job, and he went, fucker stole my idea. So he just
said, I gave that idea. I gave him that idea.
Well, technically they would have stolen his idea.
Yeah. But come here, I fucking hate all that shit.
Yeah, it is. It's garbage.
I hate Paddy's Day.
So do I.
Fucking hate Paddy's Day.
Yep.
And not because of any fucking religious atheist fucking shit or any of that crap. It's because the fucking mayhem in town.
I just don't like
it's horrible. I don't go in fucking near it anymore. Like,
no.
I'd love to bring my kids into the Paddy's Day parade, but it's just not worth the fucking hassle anymore. It's fucking chaotic. Because the fucking pubs and the commercialisation, like everything fucking else, it becomes about that. And then you've got the fucking messy teenagers who fucking are out getting piss drunk. And I know I sound like an old fucking man screaming at the sky here, but it's just.
Yeah, no, St. Patrick's
Day. It's not worth
the
hassle. We have a lovely little parade here in Blanchardstown, and that does me.
St. Patrick's Day is not fun anymore.
No, it's not. You can't even get near a fucking pub. Like, you can't even get into a pub.
One of the symbols of Paddy's Day is the leprechaun.
Oh, fucking don't get me started on that shit.
The Lobarson in Irish folklore, which means small-bodied fellow, used their magical powers for good or evil. In Celtic folklore, leprechauns were cranky shites and were responsible for mending the shoes of other fairies. Right. I'd be the crankiest shite ever if that was my station in life.
Yeah, it was to mend fairy shoes. For these,
mend these shoes.
For these privileged fairies, yes.
Interestingly, when is Leprechaun's Day?
What?
When is Leprechaun's Day?
No idea. Didn't know it was a thing.
Neither did I until I looked this up.
Okay.
Leprechaun's Day is on the 13th of May.
I'm going to make sure I'm out of the fucking country for the 13th.
13th of May.
God.
And just got, excuse the pun, but shoehorned into Paddy's Day.
Yeah. And I actually, I'm going to give a free advertisement here, actually. I know I shouldn't. Logan went to the Leprechaun Museum with the school there last week. He said it's fucking brilliant. Now, I've heard before, a few of my mates have been and stuff. It's supposed to be a great day out. It's basically like you go in and there's like giant furniture and giant. So you feel about 6 inches tall when you're in here, you know?
Crack. Where is it?
It's in Temple Bar.
Yeah, that'd be the
That's
crack.
been there a good few years. I've never been, but it sounds like it's really good fun.
Yeah, it sounds like the crack, yeah. But, I'll have to go and check that out. I might go and check that out when I go and check out Dublinia.
Yeah. Let's do it on May 13th then.
Yeah. What day is May 13th?
It will be I'm trying to think here. The 10th is a Sunday? Wednesday, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be podcast day anyway.
Tuesday.
Possibly. It's a Tuesday, is it?
Yeah.
Then we must be playing Arsenal on a Saturday.
Anyway, the pilgrimage. Have you been up Pádraig?
No,
never
I
climbed
have my bollocks.
I'd love to climb
have I fucking I've barely been up the hill of Tara.
Pádraig isn't Pádraig Ireland's highest mountain?
No, Carrauntoohil is Ireland's highest mountain.
Okay.
Oh, it's just Ireland's holiest mountain.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Sorry, I was miles away from the speaker there. I was putting my drink down. It's Ireland's holiest mountain, yeah.
30,000 to 40,000 people climb it every year.
Sadists.
I'd love to climb Pádraig.
Nah, it's not my thing.
For anybody not in Ireland, Pádraig is on the west coast of Ireland. 2,504 metres.
Jesus.
Yeah, I'd love to. I'd say the scenery.
But it's not an easy climb either.
I was down in the Burren with my friends. They live over the west.
Yeah, we went
down there and we weren't up near Pádraig or like that. But they were driving down this road and I haven't been there in years and I was never all over the place and they were saying, I didn't know about mountains. And we were on our way to Burren and they said, there's fucking amazing stuff here. And they pulled it in and I was like, what are we, in the middle of nowhere, no beach, no picnic area, no nothing. And I said, what are we doing? They said, you're going to go out, you're going to get out of the car and you're going to turn around.
And kneel down on the ground and put your hands behind your back.
You're going to turn around and look at the view. And it's fucking amazing.
Class.
I can understand why all the tourists, the Germans, go over there and they talk about it and say, it's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
We had a similar one to that. There was a place called Connor's Pass in Dingle. Have you ever heard of it?
Yeah. I love
Fantastic.
I love
fantastic. But the gas thing about that one was we were down there with our friends from the US. Big shout out to Kathy and to Stella, who both listen in regularly. We were down there for a week with them. It was fucking amazing. But they surprised me with a boat trip out to Skellig Vigil. And we didn't go all the way out, but like we could see it, you know. And I'm like, fucking Star Wars Island, you know. But then we were driving over Connor's Pass the fucking next day, and you can actually see Skellig Vigil from Connor's Pass. Yeah. You can see it, like. I was like, we didn't even have to go on the fucking boat. There it is, like.
It's amazing.
Star Wars fucking Island.
Anyway, 30,000 to 40,000 people go on the pilgrimage.
Yeah.
Up Pádraig every year.
And how many break limbs?
It was closed for a while.
Quite a fucking few.
Yeah. Well, you know, accidents happen. St. Patrick did it for a 2-week penance of fasting and
that's where it comes
prayer.
from, is it?
Yeah. That's where it all comes from.
I thought it was just because it was called Croagh Patrick, so they did it. No idea.
I couldn't find its original name. I'm sure
it's not Patrick's Day they do that pilgrimage, is it?
As far as I know.
Oh, okay, right. Yeah. That stands to reason, I suppose.
Yeah. It makes sense. I don't know. That's how you celebrate your fucking St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, and just a wee little note to as I mentioned, we have quite a few listeners in the States. It's Patrick's Day, St. Patrick's Day, or Paddy's Day. More
commonly known and affectionately known as Paddy's Day.
Paddy's Day. It's never, ever, ever, ever Patty's Day. Patty is something you put on a bread bun in McDonald's. Okay? Paddy's Day.
Paddy apostrophe
as in, you know, they call the Irish paddies.
Yeah.
Okay. Listen, whatever you want to fucking call it, enjoy it. Be safe. Don't drink too much. Have fun.
But we're not done yet.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were wrapping up. Sorry.
Nope.
You can edit that out. Edit that out and we'll do it again at the end.
I'll leave it in.
All right. Okay.
Just let it flow, man. It's organic.
Okay. I thought he was wrapping up.
I was going back to, I questioned if there were ever snakes in Ireland.
Yeah.
And that I also said a little later on that looking up this stuff just leads you down a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And that's when I get into the whole pagan thing for me. And the animals that were in
yeah, sorry, yes, we did want to talk about this.
There were no snakes. There were never snakes. That was, and I take it as an insult to pagans and paganism. Yeah.
That they refer to as snakes, yeah. Serpents, the devil, you know. Seriously.
There were wolves.
Yeah.
And there were bears.
Bears, that was the one that got me. Like, I know you were talking about going to the Burren and that, like, the Allowee Caves in the Burren.
Allowee Caves, yeah.
There's
the bones there.
Yeah. Now, I'm talking about, I was a child when we went there, though.
Yeah, so was I.
Long time ago.
I'd love to go back.
But it's still...
I'd love to go back because it's more symbolic now.
Yeah.
It would have more for me than just a bunch of bones.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. And I mean, the whole, like, just even the notion, though, that there's brown fucking bears.
There were brown bears.
Brown bear skeletons, like that. That blew my mind as a child.
There were brown bears, and they're differently aged. Obviously, it's not all from one family, you know.
Oh, yeah.
But there's
Mama Bear, Baby Bear, and Papa Bear.
There was loads of, at different times, there were bears there.
Was it brown bears or black bears? It was
brown bears.
Yeah, it was brown bears.
They would have died out, I think I read it was the first millennium BCE.
Was it the Ice Age, or was it something like that? It was caused the extinction. Or?
It was, there was okay, the Irish deer was
the elk or whatever. Yeah, the Irish elk, as it was called. Yeah,
10,500 years ago. There was one. There was others that I think were 8,000 years ago. But it's all BCE, obviously. But it's after the last Ice Age. And I was looking up the bears.
After the Ice Age, okay.
I was looking up the bears and the wolves. And all their bones dated around the same time. So it's not that they all died off at the same time, but the falling of one had a knock-on effect.
Coincided with the falling of the other. I mean? Yeah.
When temperature dipped
Circle of life.
For the Irish deer, when temperatures dipped and there was less food on the ground because they're herbivores, so there's less growth, so they don't grow, so they starve to death. And if they starve to death over a period of time, bears are going to starve to death. Wolves are going to starve to death. And they all gradually went extinct.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's, as I was saying to you earlier, there was skeletons of an Irish deer were found in Russia, because the Irish deer, and I just referred to it as the Irish deer, was just a giant deer that was all across Europe as far as Russia.
Yeah, so the Irish only refers to the ones found in Ireland, basically.
Obviously, yeah. But it's only the Irish deer because it's found in Ireland.
Yeah.
It's not because it was fucking indigenous.
No.
So they're all across Europe. But they dated in the one in Russia was thousands of years older. The carbon dating was thousands of years older than the one that was found in Ireland.
Okay.
You know, there was loads of them. There was the bears. Interestingly, right? One of the bones, and they're estimated to have died out between 1,000 and 500 BCE.
Yeah.
One of the bones in the Allowee Caves had marks on it.
That's right.
That were cuts.
Yeah.
From being butchered
by
early man.
Stone implements. Yeah, that's right.
That's fucking nuts.
I fucking remember that now. Jesus, that's taking me right fucking back to that tour. Yeah.
It was brilliant.
Stone Age man hunting the fucking Stone Age bears. Yeah, like fuck me. It's mad, isn't it? History's fucking... I love history now. And I know this is not strictly a history podcast, but we do tend to have a strong history bent on it, and I'm really enjoying that aspect. Everything is history, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do in the future podcast? Yeah. That's just astrology.
But you know what I mean. But I'm loving it. I'm really, really interested.
I want to go back and talk about some of the Christian shit that was done on Druids as well.
Okay.
Like there's in the 1990s, there were excavations that revealed the remains of a small chapel, and this was up on Pádraig.
Okay.
And it was dated from the time of St. Patrick.
Okay.
So that's like the 5th century. Because we're saying, what did we say? 460-ish, 461 he died.
440 to 460, yeah.
He would have been a young enough man able to climb Pádraig.
Yeah, well, they say he died at 75, so I don't know.
Yeah, so whenever.
That was an old man back then.
Yeah.
Old man back then.
That's a good age to achieve if that's the age he fucking achieved. Yeah.
Again, if.
Pádraig, I said I couldn't find the name of it. I've just found the name of it.
Huh.
Isn't that mad?
What?
Couldn't find it. I couldn't find the name of Pádraig before it was Pádraig.
Oh, okay.
And it was Cruachan Aigle. Which is probably
Pádraig. Face?
Yeah.
No.
No, that's your Aig.
Aig, yeah, Aigle.
Yeah, well, whatever.
North Face.
That's it, yeah. The way St. Patrick went up it for his fucking 2 weeks of penance and observation and fasting or whatever it was. The Druids used to do it in July. So maybe what I'm saying, they all go up on St. Patrick's Day. Maybe some of them make the trek in July as well, which would make more sense because the weather's potentially nicer.
Maybe
There's a
some
greater,
of the pagans do it, yeah.
But they did it during the Festival of Lunacy.
Ah, okay.
Which was great.
Which is the Moon Festival, isn't it?
That dead silence is my answer to you.
Yes, it is. Lunacy.
Yeah,
Luna.
yeah.
Yes.
I watched a documentary on it the other day, and lots of documentaries I watch now, and it's really irritating. It's that AI voice.
Oh God, no, I can't. I can't even.
It's horrible. I can't. But the funny thing, the amusing thing about watching these documentaries is when they try to pronounce a word that's not English. Oh, it's fucking hilarious, man. It's so funny. Oh, it's great. Lots of my friends as well observe the paganism of St. Patrick's Day. They don't go in for I remember one year I was talking to some American guy in Mother Redcaps.
Jesus, that's a fucking name I haven't heard in years. That's still there?
That's in long ago. No.
Mother Redcaps.
I don't know where it is now.
Up in the Liberties, isn't it?
No, it's up off Thomas Street.
Yeah.
Up past Christchurch.
That's
I don't think Liberties. It was that far down. No, it wasn't that far down. It was right up there on top of what would now be the hill.
Yeah,
but he was wearing Irish tricolor around his waist. Tied around his waist.
Fucking hate that shit. Respect the flag, for fuck's sake.
Get my fucking flag off your waist.
Off
he was
your
like,
ass.
I bought it.
Get your flag off my ass.
And all my mates were like, remove that fucking flag. So they made him. And he left draping all over his shoulder. And probably tied it around his waist.
Even draping around your fucking shoulder is still fucking disrespecting the flag.
Yeah, but they wear hats and t-shirts and shirts. And
fucking wrecks me.
It's not a federal offence in the US.
What?
To
desecrate the flag. It's against decorum here anyway. There's a list, actually. We'll throw it up on the Facebook page, actually. There's a list of rules for the Irish national flag. And some of them are fucking breached every fucking day of the week. Flag should never touch the ground. And it should never be defaced with pictures or slogans.
Well, you see lots of that.
You go to a football match and it's fucking covered in them.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Well, I'll tell you what we did do. We were at a 1916 centenary commemoration outside fucking Kilmainham jail to mark the anniversary of the executions, and a hawker came along with an Irish flag, right? He was fucking trying to sell these, yeah? An Irish flag with the proclamation printed on the white part of it and the faces of the executed leaders on the green and orange part. Now, needless to say, this is a fucking commemoration of Republicans. He was fucking ran out of it. You do not deface the flag with slogans or images. Anyway.
Going back to St. Patrick.
Yeah.
What miracles did he perform?
What do you mean? What miracles are attributed to him?
Yeah.
Turned water into Guinness.
Did he actually do that?
Yeah.
No, not did he. I'm not saying did he do that. Sorry, I did.
I'm being sarcastic.
Is it attributed to him?
No, I just
Okay,
made that up.
So answer the question.
I've no fucking idea.
I'm not sure he did any. And he'd be the only saint I've ever heard of that didn't.
No, well, in the video I was watching today, there was reference made to the miracles that are attributed to him. But
Okay, so what were
I
they?
don't know. She just made reference to the miracles that had been attributed to him. Oh, yeah, the fucking pigs.
Oh,
The pigs in the desert.
that wasn't a miracle though, was it?
Well, he prayed to God for fucking food, and
That
food
was
came.
just coincidence and bad luck.
Yeah,
on
but it was
behalf of the
attributed to
pigs.
him as
Okay. Right, so
a
there's
miracle.
one.
Yeah.
No, I can't think of...
There was that one, and then there was the fucking, the fucking boat, the fucking, making the captain take him, Jedi mind trick, whatever.
No. That even when I saw that and read it, it wasn't presented as a miracle to me. I read it and I was like, that was fucking lucky. But it wasn't
Yeah,
presented.
but I think it is attributed as a miracle.
Okay,
They were the two that were in the video
that's
anyway.
tenuous.
I know. Yeah. Aren't they all, Dan? Aren't they all?
Is Snake... Well, yeah, wait until I get on to Bridget's. Saint Bridget. Bridget was great. Saint Bridget is a myth. His snake thing, I also read, and it's just after coming back to me, when he was up doing his penance and observation up on Croagh Pah-drig, he was attacked by venomous snakes. And in frustration, he drove them all out
into the sea.
Yes.
Yeah, now let's just back up on that one. Venomous snakes equals armed pagans. Driving them into the sea. This is what I was talking about earlier, Del, the conversion at the fucking tip of a sword.
No, that's not what I take at all.
It fucking is, Del. Jesus, it's not even debatable. It is. You look anywhere.
I know what pagan snakes was, but I don't
a band
subscribe
of
to your tip of a sword.
He drove them into the fucking sea. Fuck, what did he do? Asked them nicely to jump off the cliff into the Atlantic.
That's a metaphor that you're taking very seriously.
Yeah, no, it is. It's a fucking, definitely didn't come from nowhere.
No, sorry. That's not the way I read it at all.
Well, if we're agreeing that the fucking snake is a metaphor for the pagans, yeah?
Yeah.
Right, and we're saying that St. Patrick physically drove them into the sea. How do you think he did it?
He didn't physically drive them into the sea.
But that's what it's alleged, isn't it?
No. And they're not saying it's pagans.
No,
he drove them out of the land. He drove them out of the land. He convinced the biggest clan in this area that Christianity was the way to go. Yeah. And they went, yep, I'm on board. And every other smaller subservient clan said, well, we are now, I suppose.
Yeah, except for the venomous ones who attacked them.
It's a metaphor.
That's what I'm saying. He was attacked by venomous snakes. What do you think that's a metaphor for?
I think it's
for
bullshit.
A clan who didn't
it's hyperbole.
Convert. No,
it's all
a clan
hyperbole.
Who didn't convert.
No, it's hyperbole.
And the clans who did fucking drove them out of.
Not saying there wasn't fighting, but I'm saying that's all hyperbole.
I disagree wholeheartedly. Okay. That's hyperbole. It's the logical assumption to make.
It's not
logical. I mean, you have this fanciful idea that it was done peacefully, Del.
No, I don't. I'm just saying there's no record that there were fights or skirmishes or battles or armies.
No record because the only record keepers were the fucking Christian church.
But there'd still be records. I mean, there's records everywhere else in the world of the Christian churches being and laid waste to everything.
Yeah, but there
was a different.
Those keeping the records and fucking reporting on this, if you want, we're not Christians. Whereas in Ireland, there was nobody else.
There was a different step taken in Christians. They assimilated, and it was insidious. And I
think that's a romantic view. I think that's to think that it wasn't done violently here now when it was done violently everywhere fucking else. I think is a massively romantic view. I really do.
No,
we'll agree to disagree on it, but I think there had to be violence. There's no way it was done peacefully though.
Bridget, however, is a completely different story.
Yeah, and that's one for another day, I think, is it?
Nope. Bridget was, one legend has, thrown from a horse and she cracked her head off a rock. And with head injuries, they bleed profusely. And she bled and some of it bled into water. That was then touched by 2 deaf girls.
Who began hearing?
Who got the hearing back. Which is fucking great.
Fair play to them.
Yeah.
Deadly.
Yeah. She also, and I read this in a couple of sources, and then I read a different account in a different source, so you wouldn't know which one to follow, that there was a man with leprosy, and
Actually, hang on, before you move on to
she
the
had
leprosy,
water.
can I just posit a theory, a hypothetical? Wasn't the pagan Bridget a healer? Wasn't that her?
Yep.
That was her role, wasn't it? She knew potions and herbs and all that stuff.
She had a lot.
Yeah, so I'm going to posit a theory. Is it possible here that the deaf girls were actually 2 girls with earaches or possibly ear infections and she healed them? And that then became, fucking twisted and turned and into,
maybe.
fucking...
Absolutely.
That's probably what that was, yeah?
Earwax.
Yeah,
Build-up of
earwax or an ear infection that she, fucking, cured with herbs. And as the pagans did, pagans understood nature. They understood the kind of properties of the plants around them and stuff, in ways that...
Yeah. She,
that we've lost.
Again, a lot of it was assimilated.
Mm.
But this guy who had leprosy, she either blessed the water or she makes her own blood with it because she had such a good run with it with the 2 deaf girls. And she bathed his leprosy, his wounds, and they went away.
And again, I'm going to posit a hypothetical. This whole thing of her blood then is probably whatever herbs and fucking shit she was using to make her potions. It's not her blood. It's not her blood.
I have a different
and maybe
take.
she was putting some of her blood in as well. But
I have a different take on it.
Okay, go on, yeah.
He spilled porridge on his skin and forgot about it. And it dried and went scabby. And then she washed off. And it was like, he's cured.
No, I think it's more likely it was... He probably had fucking psoriasis or scabies or fucking... Or leprosy, whatever the fuck it is. And she's, cooked up a salve. Is that what they call it? A salve?
Yeah.
And maybe she put some of her blood in that salve as well. Like, I mean, it's paganism. It's, they weren't fucking trained in the Royal College of fucking Surgeons.
Is that a fetish?
What?
That's a fetish. Mixing your blood with shit and making people drink it.
That's the whole fucking vampirism fucking
I don't know what it is.
shit that we will get onto in another episode. Yeah. Maybe.
She totally, this is St. Bridget, did the King of Leinster dirty.
Did she?
Yeah, she did. She
Conor
went,
MacNessa, was it?
She went to him. His name was the King of Leinster at the time of St. Patrick and St. Bridget was Enoch and Shallock.
Oh, okay. Sorry, just...
As far as I know.
Just back up. Are we saying here Bridget and Patrick were around the same time?
I thought they were.
I didn't know that.
Well, no, maybe they're not.
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know.
It never occurred to me that
when does it all go together? It just, it's a hodgepodge.
Yeah, no, I just never had it down as being...
Anyway,
okay.
The King of Leinster, she went to him and she said, I'd like some land to build a monastery or a church or to start my cult.
I remember this, yeah.
And he said no. And she said, I go on. And he said, no.
You will.
And he was like, okay, just give me as much as my cloak will cover.
Ah, yes.
And he went, okie dokie. And she got 4 of her friends to spread her cloak out, and it covered an amazing
like the whole Leinster
amount of distance. And he went, you with your spandex cloak. And it just spread and spread.
Yeah.
And her friends...
It took all his land, didn't it? The whole lot of his land, wasn't it?
A big portion, anyway. Yeah. But there's a monastery in Kildare.
That's right, yeah.
A missionary monastery thing in Kildare to St. Bridget. And that's apparently the land that was taken.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she totally did him dirty with a spandex cloak.
The expanding magic cloak.
The magic cloak. And and this is the last one, she went to her mother's. Her mother either lived on the farm or worked on the farm or something, to give her a hand one day. And they'd milked the cow, but they needed more. So she laid her hands on.
The other.
And they got, not the other, you fucking pervert.
No,
She laid her hands on the cow.
That was on the other.
And
You might have been reading the sensitive version.
it gave 10 times the amount of milk. And they milked again. The poor fucking cow.
I know, yeah.
Jesus Christ. So, yeah. That's it. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Patrick's Day. Not Paddy's, or not Patty's Day. Not Paddy's Day ever.
Happy St. Patrick's Day and happy in bulk.
In bulk,
for February the 1st. February the 1st every year.
Is in bulk.
Everybody should celebrate in bulk.
Yeah, and they've no
you don't have to be pagan.
If you're in Ireland, you have no excuse because it's a public holiday now as well. So you have the day off.
In bulk. You don't have to go to work. You don't have to get up early. Get out and have a walk.
Get out into nature.
Get out and get some
your thing.
Fucking pine. Go out and get some holly. Go out and get some mistletoe. All that kind of stuff. Pop it all in a pot. Add some lemon, citrus.
No, that's stuff for winter solstice.
Okay.
That's a winter solstice.
I was going to say drink it.
But there's probably a equivalent for Imbog, though. I'll look it up, and if I find that, and I'll stick it on the Facebook. So
wild garlic.
Wild garlic. Now that's something.
There's the thing I was reading. When the lambs start to come out, this is February 1st. When lambs start to come out, and wild garlic would be poking through the snow. Yeah. That's what they were saying.
Didn't get any snow this year.
Go out and find wild garlic. Okay. And there's lambs everywhere.
To ward off the evil spirits and to ward off the vampires.
That's it. Okay.
So
and that's that.
Okay, folks, enjoy. Have a safe and prosperous fay-leh Pádraig.
Yeah. Happy St. Patrick's Day. See you next time.
See you next time.